Kill List is a 2011 British film directed by Ben Wheatley and stars Neil Maskell, MyAnna Buring, and Michael Smiley. The plot follows two former British soldiers now working as hitmen, and they accept a well-paying job from a mysterious client, not knowing the dark path they are being sent down. So, I had been wanting to see this movie for quite a few years at this point. As you might know, I think I've talked about it a little bit here and there. I'm a pretty huge fan of the stories of H.P. Lovecraft, and Kill List is often considered very Lovecraft influenced. I mean, obviously, there are no Lovecraft stories involving hitmen, so you might be wondering where the comparisons come in and what exactly they are. I'm actually going to try and keep those elements fairly obscure. This is one of those films that just absolutely needs to remain unspoiled until you see it, because it is, in my opinion, it's a journey well worth taking, and one that you definitely won't forget. I mean, you hear the word hitman and your mind immediately goes to certain places, at least mine does. And these guys don't look like, where your mind takes you, which I thought was interesting. They to me, I thought these guys were very unassuming hitmen. In fact, Jay looks like the last person you would expect to be a hitman until you get to know him. Neil Maskell is great as the lead, and the way he portrays Jay is very intense. He is still, his character's kind of still reeling from the last mission, which left him just completely traumatized. He's been unable to work, and now he and his family are just near broke. He's in a super dark spot, needless to say, and he's kind of in fight or flight mode constantly. And for me, at least, I found him very relatable. And honestly, Jay's PTSD is not only believable, but it's palpable. I think Jay is a truly good guy for multiple reasons, some of which I can't really discuss. But it's clear that he's a good husband, good father, and a good friend. I really appreciated the character development between Jay and Gal because I didn't really see it coming. They're these two special ops type guys, and I just figured that, they'd be more faceless. Gal is kind of the polar opposite of Jay. He's got more of a sense of humor, he's outgoing and charming, but he also has to rein in Jay at times because, he's become kind of unhinged as a result of the trauma that he's endured. And he's also deeply religious, where at times it seems like Jay takes issue with religion. But they are great together, as buddies, and the banter between them works so perfect in that English type way, if you know what I mean. So at this point, there's so much I could say about the story, but I made the decision to not really go any further because this really is one that I want you to see. There are key scenes that I would so want to tell you about, but it would just be doing you a massive disservice. What I can say is that there are some strong folklore elements here, and it's done right, so there is an immense feeling of absolute dread. And I think what I really appreciated most is that it's full of things that you just won't expect. You won't see a lot of this stuff coming. The gore here is used sparingly, but when it's there, it's absolutely shocking and horrific. I will also say that there's nothing that can prepare you for the last 10 minutes of this film. Just nothing. But yeah, it's kind of a masterpiece. I'm giving Kill List a 9 out of 10, and I think it's easily one of the most interesting films of its kind, but it also takes its influences and does something completely new with them. A hitman story with folk horror elements, the complete fear of the unknown, what cosmic forces might be out there, and of course, madness and paranoia. This is a confusing at times and horrifying journey that I can absolutely guarantee you won't forget, and I've never seen anything like this. And on a budget of around $800K, I mean, this is a rare example of that, and I absolutely, see its cult status just continuing to rise over, the coming years. Everyone needs to see this. Cheers, guys, and I'll see you at the multiplex.